Hi guys. So I'm kind of excited about this project. I think it's pretty cool, and I had hoped that we'd get to do it, that especially some of us would be building the buildings actually. So I'm hoping next year we get to do that. These are some floor plans that came with some of our buildings, and so I want to talk a little bit about reading a floor plan and what is all involved. And certainly if you want more specifics and to learn more about reading a floor plan, you can Google videos on that, because they are pretty interesting. And if you're interested in construction, I would highly suggest you do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you a few particulars about floor plans, because you're going to be drawing floor plans, probably not quite as detailed as these, but it won't hurt to take a look at these anyway. So before I get too far down the road on looking at the blueprints that I have set out here on the table, I want to bring you to the copy of the shed kit student instructions that you have in your packet. And these instructions are very explicit and will walk you through exactly how to set up your drawing. And you will be creating your drawing. I'm going to make another video, so don't get too worked up about really keeping track of all this right now. You'll be doing your drawing on this paper, and so you can see how much smaller that paper is than a blueprint size drawing. And some blueprint size drawings are bigger than what I have here as well. So in your student instructions, it talks to you about your problem, your project. So you want to make sure you read every part of it, okay, as you're going through. It tells you exactly how to get started with your drawing. One thing I want to bring your attention to, and you're going to see these words on these drawings that I have here that we're going to look at. This is basically a vocabulary sheet here. It's in your packet, and there's also a little quiz sheet in your packet for you to go through and rewrite these vocabulary words so that you practice and you kind of have an understanding as to what they are. They're wall, door, and window terms, and they're kind of important, and you're going to see these on these drawings. Okay, and as you can see here on these drawings, they're drawn in. And as you turn the page in your packet, you're going to see other terminology here with truss terms. Okay, when you make your drawing for your trusses, and then you build your trusses, if you're a freshman, you're going to be actually building the shed. If you're in any other class, you're going to be creating the drawings, and then you're going to create a model of something else in the third packet for the last 3 weeks of school this year. But everybody's going to be doing this drawing to get some experience with creating a scale drawing. So anyway, that's an overview of this packet. Please be sure that you read the directions. They are very explicit, and they will help you out a lot. So as we look at this drawing, I'm going to move my apparatus up here a little bit so it gets the whole drawing in. As we look at this drawing, this is an overview of a floor plan here. And what you can see is this is the building right here. And the floor plan of the building, you can see that there are specific rooms identified, lots of details here. I'm going to go over that in a minute. You can also see that there's elevation drawings, meaning if I were looking at the back of the house, I would see this as a silhouette of the home. And if I was looking at the front of the house, I would see that looking at the front of the home. And then finally, here's a cross section of the home. So if I were to draw a line across here and look from the end to end, I would see the supporting structure and the roof trusses for the home. So it gives you a broad overview of what the home looks like. And then as we look at the actual floor plan drawing, we see it actually has a measurements on it, right? So this says 24 feet. So from the outside wall here to the outside of the wall here, it's going to be 24 feet, okay? And then you can also see how there are measurements across at critical points across the home in all directions. Here's a stud wall here, and for windows and doors. If you were actually a contractor building this home and trying to follow the architectural drawings, you'd want to make sure that your finished sizes met the measurements and dimensions on this, because those are critical pieces of the structure in the building. You'll also notice that there are some of these, the doors are opening out, some the doors are swinging in. Those are right-hand, left-hand doors, specifics like that. If you're interested, there are some great videos online that go into more specifics about floor plan information, floor plan measurements, drawings, how to read them. One thing to note here, if we look at this measurement of the front of the home, so you can see this is the front of the home because there's a door, there's a window on the left side of the door, and there's two windows on the right side of the door, which matches up with our front elevation, okay? And so as we look at this, we can see that from the outside of the wall on the left to the outside of the wall on the right is 34 feet. And then as we look at these interior measurements, we're going to see that it's 5 foot 9 inches from the outside of this wall, and the window, and it does look like this window is centered. It's got 5 foot 9 inches here and 5 foot 9 inches here, and we know it's centered because it goes to the outside of this wall as well, and the outside of this wall. So the total distance from the outside of this wall to the outside of this wall is going to be 10 feet 18 inches, which is actually 11 and a half feet, right? And so that's how far this distance should be when it's finished. The architect wants it to be that far when it's finished. So all of these dimensions are really important. If you're a contractor, you're going to want to make sure that you get them accurate. So these drawings here are particular to framing a wall, and in particular for this house that this drawing belongs to. But as you'll notice, it has a lot of the terminology that is on the vocabulary page for walls and doors, and also we're going to see in a minute the truss framing has the truss terminology on it. You'll see there's the header, there's the sill, cap plates, channel blocks, cripple studs, king studs, fire blocks. So all this terminology, you want to make sure that you have a grasp on what it means as you're drawing your drawing. This area here of this drawing is really kind of step-by-step for putting together this building using balsa wood. I hope that we get to do this next year. But in the meantime, you're going to be drawing your building under the instructions for the shed student instruction part. And as you can see, there are measurements again here on this drawing. They are finished dimensions, so you want to make sure that you're making accurate measurements on your drawing, and that if it's going to the center of something, you want to make sure you're in the center of it. So if you want to look at this, it looks like this is a window framed in here, and that it's not quite, it doesn't look like it's quite centered, because here we see 3 inches and here we see 2 13/16 inches. But also we have some different things going on here on the side. This is an exterior wall, it looks like. And so we're going to have something else come in here because there's going to be a wall spliced in here. So you want to make sure you pay particular attention to the directions and the measurements that you're creating. Okay, so here's another view of wall construction. Framing the walls. Some things I want you to notice on this, and on all of these drawings. The scale is right here. So this says 3/4 of an inch to 1 foot. And you're going to be creating your drawing to the same scale. And so when you use your architectural ruler, you're going to be able to take the 3/4 scale, which is right here, and that's going to help you in drawing the length of your walls, because from 0 here on the 3/4 scale to the 1, that's 1 foot. So that is actually 3/4 of an inch on your scale, on your drawing, but 1 foot on the ground. And so that's how the architectural ruler can help you really quickly create your drawing. And I'm gonna create a video on using this and making the drawing itself. So, but again, you'll notice the terminology, the cripples, the cap plate, the top plate, the fire blocks. You're going to want to have a feel for that terminology as you create your drawing. And you're going to want to put measurements, dimensions, and guiding features and terminology on your drawing so that when you circle back, you'll be able to use that information in a really helpful way. And next I'm going to show you a quick overview of a truss drawing. Okay, so finally I wanted to show you a little bit about a truss drawing because you are going to be making a truss drawing for your shed, although it's probably not as complicated as this truss drawing. But as you can see, this truss drawing also has terminology on it. You're going to want to make sure that you're familiar with the terminology. You're going to want to make sure that you've got the proper measurements. As you can see, they have measurements down here. It's like this one says bottom cord. And it tells you how long that is, and then here's your bottom cord. This particular drawing is again focused on the balsa wood. As you can see from these pictures, this particular drawing is from a model kit that we would be using to create our model from. And as you can see, it also has the scale down here. Hopefully that's still in our picture, I'm not sure, but it does say scale 3/4 inch is 1 foot on the ground. So things to remember, labeling. It also tells us right here that there's 16 of these required, and this is the end gable for the truss. This is the truss pattern. It says 2 are required. So lots of information on these drawings, lots of guidance. Down here it tells you what you're going to use for material. It says you're going to use 2x4 material for all parts except the gussets, and you're going to use 1x6 material for the gussets. I'm not sure, maybe that's out of the view. There we go. Sorry about that. So again, there's your scale, and there's the specifics as far as what the pattern can have in it. Okay, so next video is going to be about making our drawings. So please make sure that you look for more videos on framing structures if that's an interest of yours. Moving forward, it's definitely, there's lots of jobs in construction. Okay, bye.